You're hungry, you hustle, and you're humble. And you're gonna be a big plant one day. Hey, Ace!
Were you just talking to your plant?
Oh yeah, man, you're supposed to talk to your plants. So I was giving it affirmations.
Do you want to go film this episode?
Yeah, sure. Can I bring my plant?
Sure.
What makes a company great? What makes a company tick? You know, the companies that have lasted for years and will be around for years to come. At Markel Group, what we've found is that it's beyond great product or service. Those are important, sure, but it's really about the people who drive culture, who embody the spirit of the work, and who build lasting relationships across organizations. We're on a journey to tell the stories of those people, the ones who make Markel Group successful. Welcome to Markel Style. Matt Johnson.
Hey, Scotwood.
Welcome back to the studio, my friend.
Thank you. I love being here with you.
Sometimes I love being here with you. Sometimes. Hey, so you probably noticed an odd time to start filming this episode on your calendar. I chose 3:05 very intentionally as a time to kick off.
Very weird. And why was that?
Well, it was weird, but appropriate and relevant. 3:05 is the area code of one of my favorite places. It is also the place that we are going for this episode. Any guesses?
South Florida.
South Florida, Miami specifically.
3:05!
Exactly, the land of Pitbull. Yeah, I love it. That is where we are spending time today because today's Style Award winner is Diego Barahona from Costa Farms.
Yes, Diego. And you know I love to call people an absolute legend, but you know what he is? An absolute legend.
Look, I love it. Hey, how about you give us a background on Costa Farms, which has become this growing empire, and then we'll get into Diego's story, which I think is pretty rad.
I love it. 1961, Jose Costa Sr. came over from Cuba and started a tomato farm on 30 acres in South Florida. That business he called Costa Farms, and it has evolved over a couple of generations of family ownership into the largest grower of houseplants in the world, or at least one of the largest.
So in 1961, my wife's grandfather, Jose Costa Sr., emigrated from Cuba. And he was a tomato farmer in Cuba, a successful farmer, but somebody that was dealing something that was very volatile. That all evolved, and our industry grew to the mass market, taking a large part of the share. And today, Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart make up about 50% of the entire market.
Okay, all right, and Costa joined the Markel family in 2017, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
Okay,
Yep.
So newer to the portfolio, which is awesome because they are at 30 acres. A 30-acre tomato farm, now one of the world's largest, almost the world's largest houseplant supplier. How did that happen?
Yeah, I mean, they've got over 5,000 acres of growing space now. They're operating in South Florida, the Dominican Republic, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia. I may have missed something in there. We can always put up those little screens when I get the facts wrong like we do. But let me tell you, how does that happen? We talk so much about culture here, and I know I'm going to say something about culture, but this is not about plants. This is absolutely about people. Because when you look at how this business is operated, they will tell you that they don't just grow plants, they grow people too.
They don't just grow plants, they grow people too. Is that, I looked at their values. They've got a massive print of values down at HQ. It sits right by the lunchroom or the cafeteria. And the three that I really dig: humble, hungry, and hustle.
That's it.
That is people oriented. How are we going to go out and make sure we're growing people that embody those three? That's pretty cool.
You get down in that culture, and you were down there.
Yeah.
I mean, it is contagious energy. It's very vibrant. You go to a meeting, it's like, it's animated. This is not just like corporate, like, hey, how many plants did we sell today? It's really a rich culture. And I think when you look at what it means to grow people, easy to say.
Yeah.
But this isn't about like corporate trainings and things like that.
No, we're talking investment in people. There's a literacy program that I've heard you talk about. You want to give me some of the anecdotes about where we see this come to life?
I mean, so many of the people that work at Costa speak English as a second language, if at all. So a lot of the people have immigrated from parts of Latin America, and they don't speak or write English. And so seeing that, Costa Farms said, you know what, why don't we integrate some free English and literacy training into the experience of our employees? And so they've had over 1,000 people graduate from that program so that they can learn to read and write English, and then also basic arithmetic and mathematics. So they are actually equipping people to rise to the next level of employment and to really grow. And I think you look at the journey of some of these people, and Diego's a great example of this, we'll talk about. They are equipping people who have a fire in their belly, who are hungry, with the tools they need to just reach full potential.
Getting back to the literacy program just for a second, that we've graduated now a little under 1,000 folks in the last 10 years in that program, and it keeps growing year after year after year.
All right, so this makes so much sense for me. Everything you've just said about culture and values at Costa tracks for what I learned about Diego when I met him, and the way that he leads. Got to hang out in Miami and just kind of see him in his element. And then he was up for the Markel shareholder meeting in Richmond, and he brought his wife and kids, and that
whole family.
That was a cool experience too. But yeah, everything is now contextualized. So maybe give me Diego's background, because he's got a pretty cool story.
Oh man, I love Diego so much. He's from Costa Rica originally, and he actually grew up in a family. His father was heavily involved in agriculture, and so it's kind of like John Witt episode. Sometimes the expectation within the family is that you'll continue the legacy and go into the family business.
Yeah.
Diego had some thoughts about that when he talked to his parents about what he wanted to do with his life.
When you told your dad that you were going to go into essentially the family business, was he pretty excited about that?
He was excited. I remember when I was in my last year of high school that he said, you can study whatever you want.
Yeah.
It's your choice. So there was one night that I came and I told them, Mom, Dad, I want to be a chef. And I saw their face and they were like, And I said, no, I'm messing with you. This is what I'm going to be. So they were really happy.
So as you can see, Diego did go into the family business, and to do that, he actually went to something called Earth University.
Earth University. That's a real thing?
Yeah, they train some of the best plant growers in the world.
Earth University.
Okay.
It's a university from the USDA government from the United States in Costa Rica. So they learn how to grow plants and animals that have importance in food production, so they can come back to their countries to raise the food chain.
Okay, Earth University is a real thing. That's legit.
100%.
That's awesome. So he joins Costa in 2019?
Yeah.
We know the man can grow a plant. We've seen him do it. But talk to me about this growing people too. How does that show up in Diego's work?
Yeah, and so they sent him originally to the Dominican Republic so he could really learn the business and learn how Costa does what they do. And when he was out there, they could see that this guy embodied those values. He was humble, hungry, and he had that hustle in his spirit. And when they see that, as we said, they propel those folks. Yeah. And so they brought him back. And when they brought him back, they put him in the Young Plants division. And they saw that he had a unique and uncanny ability to really look just like John Witt and see the things in people they couldn't see in themselves.
He sees something that it's not very straightforward on the capabilities of a person, that he just detects and he's able to develop.
So normally when we receive new people in the team, in the first month or 2 months, you see the people that I call, they have the spark. So we receive people that they are just here for 8 to 5, but we have people that they really care. So when we identify those people that they really care is when we give them the tools so they can succeed in their career.
Ace, we've been talking a lot about how amazing we think Diego is, but why don't we hear what his team has to say?
He's always around to support me and have my back with translating when needed. But as far as the horticulture, he is always looking to learn more and more. He's never satisfied.
When I think about Diego, he's very hands-on. He's very passionate about his job. And he loves to work in collaboration with many teams to get the goal done and with time.
When you talk to people around him, he's just one of those guys that you never hear anything but something positive about.
grateful to you for your leadership, sir. And everybody across Markel has heard your story and celebrated you for being one of the greatest leaders here at Costa Farms. And I know everybody is grateful for what you do. So thank you, Diego.
Look, I'm not sure there's anything to add after hearing those things about Diego and the incredible work that he does.
I think there is, Ace. Go buy some plants.
Like this one. Hey, am I taking this home?
Yeah, you are. You have to keep it alive, by the way, or I'm telling Diego.
I think that wraps up another Markel Style session. Matt, I appreciate you being with me.
Thank you, Ace.
See you soon.